most men are, we'll talk about that, what most men are used to or what they've seen their whole life growing up. And I'll give you the contrast of this, and I don't want to get this political, but we've seen the way the country is being led. We see the examples of what we think leadership is as a culture. And I want to give you guys some credit for contrasting that. So let's talk about that real quick. What are the values that you put into, again, the culture and the leadership with guys like Rubio and the rest of the owners in this group?
I think it starts with being open to holding each other accountable. Jonathan, I think you remember when we first sat down, you, me, and Tom, I remember one of the things we said, and I know I said, which was you have to be comfortable telling me when you think I'm wrong. Yeah. And I say that to this day. Mm-hmm. What is that quote? You want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together, or something like that. I think it's a pretty good quote. I think it makes a lot of sense. Just because something positive is happening in the short term doesn't mean it's sustainable or it can last or it can continue to scale. I sent an email yesterday to William Pleasant, my partner, and I said, hey, I need to respond to something that I think is going to end up being a public statement in an article, and I just want you to put your eyes on it before I wanted a second opinion. Now, I could have gone to Brock, and he would have given me a great opinion. I could have gone to Tom. I could have gone to JR. In this moment, for whatever reason, I felt like William's who I need to go to. So I went to William, and he replied back. I was pretty close. Like my what I wrote was good. It would have been fine, even if I had never sent it to William. And he could have said, looks good to me. But he hit me back and he said, looks good. However, here's a couple things you might want to tweak. Well, I tweaked them. My name might get associated to that. So I guess that means I get credit. But the culture of this group, I think, believes that that's just not the way that it is. I represent the club. JR represents the club. Coach Rubio represents the club. By the way, there's things that have happened that have been not so great that have been handled in-house that the community doesn't even know about, because the opposite is true as well. You have to be willing to make difficult decisions and sometimes part ways with people or have some sort of punitive situation to protect what the larger group expects of you. So I don't know, that was a bit of me vomiting on that thought, but nonetheless, and again, I think Jonathan is he's amazingly well qualified to manage the opinions of a bunch of really opinionated people that hopefully always still say, I don't know that I'm right, but let's get as close as we can. Let's give it a shot. If it's wrong, we'll learn from the mistake, we'll fix it, and we won't let that happen again next time.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, like Eric said at the beginning, accountability is huge within the group. One thing I think everybody can agree with this within our group, and Carlos is the same way, like with Coach Jorge, Coach Will, there is no one, like you're saying, there's not an alpha. Like, we're all willing to say, like, hey, we don't know. We need help with certain things. Like, nobody's opinion is greater than someone else's, right? And so having that collective attitude about things, you can't put a limit on where that can take you. When you can take your ego aside and actually tell yourself, like, hey, I need help, I don't know, and actually admit to someone, be like, hey, I don't know. Even if you're in charge of that person, you're supervising that person per se, be like, I don't have the answer. That's really powerful to people and in a group, and especially to people you supervise. Like, my entire life, especially in higher education, when I was supervising individuals, one of the first things I'd tell my staff every year is, like, I don't have the answers to everything. And so I'm going to rely on you guys to help me figure some things out. There's going to be a few instances throughout the year I have no idea what to do. We're going to figure this thing out together. And, like, that's very powerful to people when you can make them feel like they're part of the team, that they have, power in decision making, and that they can take ownership of things. Sky's the limit.